Sonic Unleashed has made quite the comeback in recent years due to the fact that people have been able to look past the extreme hate the game got at launch and see the game for what it really is. Now, of course, I'm sure you all already know this. This is very common knowledge at this point. Why did I bring this up? Well, it's interesting because Frontiers, of course, just came out a couple months ago, and it is crushing Unleashed in popularity. I mean, I don't mean just views on YouTube. Look at this vote, dude. This is thousands of people telling you that they like Frontiers more. But why? Was this people really believe one game is actually better? Was it just the hype surrounding Frontiers? Because there is so many reasons to be hype for Frontiers. Not only was it just a fresh new Sonic game, I mean, that already brings a ton of hype. I mean, it's a new formula. The last game was Forces, and we all know how that went.
Sonic, help me!
No! There was a lot of reasons to be excited, and the fact that they actually kind of nailed it, yeah. I don't blame people for being excited, but this is kind of bold. It's not like, oh, 60% like Frontiers, just a little over half. Like, no, this is a huge majority leader. So the real question that I'm kind of getting at here is, what makes Frontiers better than Unleashed to people? What is it that Frontiers does to make it just better? What is it doing? What philosophies does it have? Like, what is that thing that really takes it up a notch? Now, this isn't coming from some Unleashed fanboy who's just wondering why the heck people don't like peak gaming. But, I mean, I like Frontiers way more than Unleashed, but I still think it's a question that desperately needs to be asked. If you have anything you'd like to add to this discussion or this specific question, please comment it down below. I enjoy hearing new views, and I mean, honestly, my opinions suck anyways. Before I get into the real juicy points, I want to get one thing clear. I'm not trying to pin down objective quality. Like, yes, okay, I know that everything is technically my opinion, but you get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say why people think one game is actually better made, because, alright, let me get that out of the way. Unleashed is a better made game. I don't think that needs to really be put to question. I mean, it's a AAA game with budget. I don't think any parts of the game were lazy. Yeah, they worked hard on it, but that's not what I'm trying to answer. I'm simply trying to answer, why do people think the game is more fun? Because obviously people don't like games because they're good. So yeah, now that we got that out of the way, I just want to completely clear that up. Starting off, I feel that Frontiers has a more immersive story than Unleashed. Now, on a baseline level, Unleashed has a better story in my eyes, but I think Frontiers takes a very different philosophy than Unleashed because the entire game is focused on the story. Unleashed takes a different philosophy, has it where it's gameplay and then you get to see, oh, look at this neat little story kind of going on as a side thing. The story isn't the main thing, but with Frontiers, they're both the main course. You're getting both of them at the same time. I mean, think about it. Frontiers would not be Frontiers if it didn't have the story. Now, Unleashed, yeah, it wouldn't be as good. Of course, the story elevates the game, but how much are you really taking away? Like, a couple cutscenes and the banger opening cutscene? Like, yeah, that's the biggest sacrifice. Good animation. But the actual story doesn't... I'm not thinking about the story when I'm playing the game. I ain't thinking about that, really. Like, you could say it's great and all, which I do believe it's really good, but like, you are not thinking about that one. You're thinking about, whoa, I get to play this day stage, not like, I get to do this specific action in the narrative. So I think that the story being more upfront really just is more captivating. You're more interested in the game. So it brings more, I guess, just when you're playing it, you can't just kind of go brain dead and just kind of spam X to get through a stage or do something. And like you got to be focused in what's going on, and I think that brings more interest to the game, getting you thinking about it more, and I think that would make you enjoy it more, because that just adds more content to the game as you're playing it, and not as a, I gotta put the pieces together of the story. The game's like, no, here's the story right here. So the second reason I got is that Frontiers wants you to learn the moves way more than Unleashed does. So, of course, I'm talking about the Werehog in Unleashed, and of course, just the combat in Frontiers. Now, if you'd like to see me go way more in depth on this topic, you can watch this video right up here where I talk about the 3 main combat systems: Unleashed, Frontiers, and Smash Bros. Ultimate. So I'm not going to go too in depth here in this video, so if you want to hear more of my full opinion, you can go watch that video. So let's start with Unleashed real quick. So the werehog only uses his stretchy arms and spike boots to do stuff. That's the only visual things he's doing. There is only so much you can do that is visually interesting with that. I mean, if you're in the game dev's position, I would be lost. Like, you can't do that much with it. It is very limiting, and it is impressive the amount of stuff they did with just some stretchy arms and whatever else he does. Unleashed feels like it limits itself so much. And another thing is that you're only pressing the buttons X and Y. Frontiers makes use of the legit entire controller. Yeah, I could learn this cool combo if I really wanted to, but what's it gonna do? Deal a bunch of damage? It may look 10% cooler. Okay, I'll just keep spamming. Now that's what it feels like. It's like, yeah, I could do that, but do I really have to go and do some homework to enjoy the game? To apparently bring more enjoyment, memorize it. And it's like, these aren't iconic moves, number one. I mean, number two, I mean, it's like, it's a chore to memorize them. It doesn't feel like I did this cool thing and I unlocked this great combo, yay! And it's like, I ain't about all that. And then just number three, it's like, even if I do all that, I learn them, I'm good with them, everything's great. What did I get for that? All right, yeah, I could beat the level faster, but it doesn't look cool. Like, it feels like on all levels, every reason that you could possibly learn these just falls flat. It doesn't really do, yeah, it does more damage, but okay, it doesn't look cool, and it's just a chore to memorize. Like I was saying, it's just, why would I go, there's no reason to go out of my way to do this. But Frontiers, on the other hand, these are extremely stylized animations. Like I said a minute ago, he just pulls out a bunch of random spin dashing Sonics in the air, which makes 0 sense. But yeah, like I said, it looks cool. He does this weird tornado kick, which isn't scientifically possible, but hey, it looks cool. He does the side loop, which yes, is the game's mechanic. Technically, I guess that doesn't count, but yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, when he does Wild Rush and does the cool dashes in the air, I don't know how he can do that, but yeah, it looks cool. And I feel rewarded, because look at this. Look at this. It is rewarding to see just this cool animation string together, doing whatever the heck you want to do. It's just a fun time, honestly. It doesn't feel like a chore. They're simple, and when you unlock a new one, you don't just stare at a menu and hope you can remember that. You go into a training thing, and you get to practice it as much as you want. Oh, I just love it so much. It's just the core philosophy of the way Frontiers' combat works makes it so much better in my eyes, and I feel that that's why people would like it more. And so this one kind of sucks, and it's not really the game's fault in any way. I don't think it's actually any of the game's fault. I think it's just the way these games are perceived by the majority of gamers. It is how much Unleashed was hated on when it came out. Now yes, I said in the intro that people were able to look past it, but the only people who could look past it were the people who were like, you know what, this game was hated on when it came out, let's give it a shot. Those people were the people that got to see what made it good. But there's also a lot of other situations. There's either people who straight up haven't played it because the werehog looks so repulsive. Like, I mean, seriously, I mean, really looking at this just looks gross to me, honestly. This just doesn't interest me at all. And while it's good, it just doesn't bring much interest. And it just looks bad. And when everyone was saying it was bad, I don't blame people for having just kind of a visceral reaction to the game. It's just like, ugh, no, I ain't about that. And then there's the people who just played it on release and then were like, you know what? People say this game's bad. I just think it's kind of bad. And since they haven't revisited the game, you could easily just think the game isn't good. And that's not to criticize on people's opinion or something. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm saying that legitimately, if everyone says this game is bad, a lot of people are just gonna be like, yeah, you know what, the game just ain't that good. You're just kind of subconsciously, you think, well, people don't say that, you aren't gonna consciously think, oh, well, because people's opinions, the majority of people think this, it must be correct. I mean, you're not consciously thinking that. You just kind of have this subconscious bias going into the game. So, in the end, what is there really to take from this? Well, I feel that just from the history of Unleashed, the nature of the game in general, and some of the philosophies that the game had would deter people from enjoying it more. And it feels like it makes some dumb decisions at certain points that just makes it where it just couldn't reach quite the potential it could. But Frontiers is this new, cool, awesome Sonic game with so much great mechanics and awesome Titan boss fights and oh my goodness, like, I mean, yeah, it's hype. It's, of course, these reasons, and people are so excited. There is just so much around Frontiers that Unleashed just kind of exists at this point, which is pretty funny to see when people, like, last year, or, well, no, like, a couple years ago, before Frontiers got announced, everyone was, simping for Unleashed. But oh boy, Frontiers has removed that from the chat. Unleashed stands left the chat. In conclusion, I simply think Frontiers is a better game. You can totally think Unleashed is a better game. That's not what I'm trying to get out of this. I'm just simply kind of trying to find out what I believe makes Frontiers more enjoyable to people. So, as a confident Frontiers enjoyer, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.